This right here is my 72-volt razor. I took everything that came stock on this bike, besides the plastic, the frames, and the wheels pretty much, and we replaced it. We used some Hotpaxx components, including a 72-volt 24-amp-hour battery, a 5-kilowatt Kunray KR5V motor, and Zoom brakes. We upgraded the chain, pretty much everything. So let's rewind back to when I did that. This is a Razor SX500 McGrath. First up, we're gonna take off the plastics. As you can see, we got all of the wires unplugged. We still have to remove these batteries, but once we get all of this done, we'll move on to the next part. MY20 coming out.
Oops.
Alright, we got the Kunray KR5, made it up with our Deech Fab motor bracket. This allows us to take a little spacer, put this between here and here, and then we can rotate the whole motor up and down to remove the original chain tensioner and allows to fit a slightly larger tire. Now we have a bunch of goodies in here to open up, unbox. This is gotta be our controller. Sure is, we are gonna need that. I believe this one came out of the battery box, and this is gonna be our charger. Yep, that is our battery charger for sure. Come on, we need a knife. We got the trusty adventure blade. Got this when I was working out in Yellowstone. What do we have here? Oh, some covers and the throttle. Cool. Our keyed ignition, our voltage reader, and our settings. And that is going to be our chain kit. Master links, some bigger and smaller sprockets. We do not need that yet. Alright, now time for the more complicated part. I probably wouldn't say this is hard. I've never done it before, but we just gotta wire up our motor to our controller, as well as all of those accessories we just added to our handlebar. So right now we're gonna do the motor wires. I would assume that these just go to the color-coded parts. Okay, next we're gonna take the leads for the battery, connect the red to the red and the black to the black. Again, you don't have to go crazy tight on these. You want them tight enough that they're not gonna move, but you don't wanna tighten it so much that you might rip out what it's attaching to underneath. Put the protective grid covering back over, separating all of our wires. Since we have all our phase wires connected, we're gonna take the rest of the wiring harness and we are going to slot this into here. And then we need to mount this up here. As you can see, I've now zip tied this up here with these heavy industrial zip ties. Now we're gonna try and figure out what all of these wires on this harness go to. This one's the most obvious, that going into there, but I have no idea what any of this does. So it actually took me a couple tries to figure out the wiring correctly, and I forgot to record it, which is why there's no footage of that. Sorry. Righty loosey, lefty tighty on motors. Stock sprocket is off. Now we got to put the T8TF, and we have 3 different sprocket sizes. This one's going to give us the most torque, and this one is going to give us the highest top speed. I think we are going to go with the middle option. Alright, now we have 2 things left we need to do. We need to replace this shock with this one that I got off Amazon for $40. And then we gotta put the rear wheel on. For one of our final steps, we gotta get this rear axle and wheel back on. Now we just need to align this brake caliper. Now we are working on the chain. I just broke it, and I got the master length that I need to put into it to put it back together, and then we should be able to start putting the plastics back on the bike. Alright guys, well I had a bunch of issues with this stock screw. It like stripped itself out, so we got new hardware in here. Gonna put the motor back on, secure this brake line, and then get the plastics on. This bike will be done. Alright, let's get to it. We have a ton of slack right now on our chain. So we rotate this up until we have a good amount. We should have a little bit of deflection, but we don't want too much. To me, that looks pretty good. Then we're gonna tighten down the motor. The bike is basically done now. I just got to put the plastics on and my grip here. But I wanted to teach you guys a little trick. So if you take any kind of like rubbing alcohol or high-proof alcohol and you put it on the inside of this grip, it will slide on super easy, and then the alcohol will evaporate, and then you have it on nice and easy. So let me show you that. So you just take this, pour a little in there, swish it around a little bit, and then just slides right on. All right, now it's time to get the plastics on this, and we'll go and test it out for the first time. I'm very excited. All right, Hopping onto the Razor for the very first time. Level 1? Yeah, it doesn't feel crazy. Tops out pretty slow. Bump it up to level 2. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely got a bit more on level 2. Bump it up to 3. Whoa, whoa. This feels crazy fast. Whoa! Oh my god, level 3 is insane. I think I'm gonna get this back in the house, get it charged up, and we're gonna try and get it out on that trail real quick. See how it handles that too. Alright guys, it's day 2 of riding the mini bike. We're gonna test the top speed run. We're in setting 3. That was 52 miles an hour. This thing's stupidly fast. Alright, we're going to try and get over to the trail without drawing too much attention to ourselves. These little mini bikes are so fun to get around places. I feel like everyone looks at you like you're ridiculous, but it does not matter. Oh, you can like ride out in traffic with these things, it's ridiculous. I love Razors. I think this is probably the most fun way to get around that you could possibly have. Good morning, sir. How does it feel out on trail? Well, the suspension kind of sucks, but it feels good. Alright guys, this is one of the 2 spots I wanted to show you. This is the canyon here. We're going to bump it up to 3 and see how this thing handles off-road. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't really want to punch it too hard through here. Oh god. I feel a lot more comfortable bringing this little E-Moto out on the trails rather than my full size. I mean, how can you get mad at someone on a mini bike? Morning. How's it handle the whoops? Not great. I definitely need a suspension upgrade before I can rip it through this part. Oh man. Still at 80 volts. Starts out at 84. 72 volts would be half charged. Honestly, level 2 feels more like a realistic trail riding speed. Looks like I'm doing about 25 miles an hour in level 2, 25, 30. That makes sense, probably like 15 first, 25-ish in second, and about 50 in mode 3. But yeah, the suspension front fork, while it's not good, the stock one, it's enough for basic riding. It's not too bad. And here we are at the second viaduct. And that rattling sound is my phone holding up the bike, for the record. Alright guys, well, we're gonna spin it around here today and head back. Today's not gonna be a range test. I just wanted to try it out a little bit on the trail. And it's performing admirably. If these are the kind of bikes that you like, with 72-volt batteries and 5 kilowatts of power, a tiny frame like this, like, comment, and subscribe. Eventually I want to build a bigger bike, like a proper dirt bike, probably like a 250. But that's going to be pretty expensive. It's so fast. It's too much for a trail like this. Let me know, guys, should I build another dirt bike soon, or should I build like an ATV maybe? Electric ATV would be fun. I've seen like the kit that Sarancer put on his, but I wonder if I could DIY one with like a big motor and maybe drop the same battery into it. Who knows? I'm gonna take a look into it. The cool thing about building electric toys is that once you have these like high power batteries, all you really need is the controller and the motor, which is relatively inexpensive compared to the batteries. So if you get a battery that you can just swap between your vehicles, then you can build things cheaper, but you know, you only can ride one at a time if you do it that way. So there's give and takes. Oh my god. This cheap air shock I put in the back is trying to yeet me off the back of the bike. I definitely can't rip through this too quickly. This thing's so stupid, dude. It's so fast for no reason. I want to thank you for tuning into my videos. I want to keep growing this channel so I can keep building more bikes like this. Anyways, I'll catch you on the next video. Bye now.